Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Let me make sure my volume's up here. I'm gonna just give a few seconds and kind of collecting myself still. I had a lot of messages come through to me this morning, and they're not new messages. They're messages that I'm already fully aware of. Hoping that some of them just channel through me because I didn't write anything down. I don't need to. This is life. And definitely part of life that I do understand and have fully experienced this to many degrees. Oh, good. I had a feeling some of you, some others needed this just as I do. I need to get this out of me because it's been brewing and brewing and brewing inside of me for a long time. And I think that it's time it comes out. So this is good. I titled today's message, Saturn, the importance of understanding the law of cause and effect within life. Because it is a main part of life and our experiences, and particularly what we're experiencing now with the current energies and Saturn very strongly squaring Mars, especially today into tomorrow. This energy is so intense, and I can only imagine what some people are experiencing through this. But I'm going to just break down my experiences. So, karma basically is the law of cause and effect. And we see this throughout many aspects of life. We can see it within nature. If we cut down a tree, it affects more than just that tree. It affects all of the animals that lived in that tree. It affects the ecosystem of the area the tree was in. The root system can cause erosion. There's always an effect from what we decide to do. We have choices in life. We have free will. This is what we are here for, learning these lessons. And they're not punishments. But we are not here on this earth to just be doing what we're doing, the rat race and all of the superficial nonsense. That is not the purpose that we are here on this planet. We are here to understand the effects of our choices and our decisions, our actions, our inactions, our energy. What we put out comes back and affects. There's a cause and effect. So also with us individually, what we choose to act or react on towards another, it not only affects that person, there's a ripple effect. It affects that person, and then that person goes home or to the store and reacts to somebody else, and it's a very long ripple effect that we do not always see or fully aware of. We have choices in life, always, from as early as you can remember in your childhood. We know in our heart, in our soul, right from wrong for ourselves, the correct choices for ourselves. Regardless of what was instilled in you growing up, religious-wise or parental-wise, we still have a resonance that we feel at a soul level what is correct for us in our heart, in our soul. And then through life, we are given opportunities, temptations, if you will. Even as a child, there have been moments in your childhood where there were temptations of some sort to take a toy and hoard it or hide it, or maybe steal a pack of gum from the store just to see. We have that. This is free will of life. We perpetuate through life. We make choices to take actions or not to take actions, the same thing. And if they're not true to our heart and soul, we will eventually, it will come back to show us. These are our life lessons. This is every single person on this planet. This is what life is about. The law of karma, cause and effect, is one big, huge law of universal law of life. You can see it everywhere, from human to human, from how we treat the earth. Whatever we put out there, there is an effect, positive and negative. So it's not only, it's not a punishment. It is to understand how much we affect everything around us by our energy, by the words we choose to use, by the beliefs we choose to hold on to, by the actions we take or the inaction that we didn't take. This is something that I feel a lot of people are feeling right now, that they held on to a belief or a way of being out of fear, and at a soul level are feeling this deeply because they've gone against their own heart and soul out of fear. And Saturn is really brewing this up right now to show, how it feels to go against your own soul, to go against your own heart and soul. It does not feel good. Trust me on that. We all know. We all know this. It doesn't matter if you're conscious to it or not. You feel it at a soul level. You cannot get away from karma, from the law of cause and effect. I don't care if you're blind. You will still feel it. It is a very deep, deep, deep soul lesson. And again, not something to punish us with, but to teach us, to have us understand how we really affect one another and the planet and ourselves based off of our choices. There's always temptations. Do we want to fit in? I'm definitely one that's guilty of going against my own heart and soul out of fear because I wanted to I wanted to fit in or be understood by, those are all temptations that are brought to us to see. Are you going to go against your own heart and soul? And I think a lot of people are really starting to sense and feel this. And yes, it is. What you put out there comes back to you. Comes back to you, for sure. Yep, the ripple is still, yes, Jerry Garcia, the ripple is still water when there is no pebble. Tossed nor wind to plow. Yes, and I was really strongly pushed to point that out specifically because I think that we all need to have a greater awareness as to what we choose to, the energy that we choose to hold, and how we choose to throw our energy out within words or actions or reactions or inactions. It affects so much more than just yourself. We are all connected in many, many different ways, and this is one of them. So that is definitely, it's a huge message. It's a huge message. And it's definitely a hard life lesson that we all have to learn eventually. I definitely got a rude awakening with karma a few years ago and had a very good understanding of that. However, there are still small little pieces because we have the human condition that, will pull us in weird directions where if we're not conscious to how we feel, our soul, our heart, our body will always tell you if you're going against something that is embedded deep within you. And we all do it. We all do it out of fear or out of, greed, lust, whatever it is. Just beliefs that really aren't, If you're holding on to a belief because other people are telling you that is the truth, but you know deep inside it's not true to you, karma's going to come back and show you that somehow, some way, in a really intense way too. So it is extremely important that we are aware of the law of cause and effect, not only with ourselves, but if you introduce, we have a beautiful ecosystem within this planet, within nature. Yet if you introduce a species that does not belong in a specific part of the world, you will see the effect. That species will take over. It will kill all of the native species. And we do this as humans too. We are seeing the cause and effect, the law of karma, worldwide, from the micro to the macro. And if we don't all collectively start to see this and realize this ourselves, we are going to be our own detriment as a species ourselves. This message came through to me extremely powerful this morning to get out. And I'm not the only one that channels these messages from above. It's an intensely important message to get across. And not to, here's the other thing, not to pass on blame or shame. It's awareness. Awareness only. Once aware, once you know, you can't go back. You can, but it won't feel right. Take a look around. Take a good look around your life. Take a good look around the world. See the effects of all of our choices. We always have a choice. And, we've all made the wrong choices in life. We all have. We just own up to that. And the thing is, if you hold on to, I made the wrong choices, you feel guilty, you feel bad, you feel shameful. So instead of changing and turning that around, because karma is easily corrected by just shifting your choice. But if you just hold on to that, like in, shame and blame and fear, I'm just not good enough, or your own self-loathing, you're still in that wheel, that karmic wheel. You're perpetuating inaction. You're perpetuating depression and fear and loathing. That's going to continue to spin around. You're going to learn that lesson over and over and over again in many different ways. Many different ways. So this is another, I call it a wheel because it is. It's within a cycle. You don't know when this is coming back to show you. It will eventually show you. There are times that we've taken actions. I mean, we're all guilty of this. Taking actions, even just things that, like I've smoked cigarettes before. I knew it wasn't something good for me or whatever, but I did it, right? And then I'm like, everything's fine. Nothing happened to me. But down the road, I find that my immune system's compromised. My lungs are compromised. Why? Because I decided to make a choice for myself that I knew was not the right choice for me. It's not an instant. Sometimes it's instant, but it's not always an instant. We're seeing the effects of karma on a grand scale right now, basically is the point of this message. So with that said, I'm going to pull a couple cards for the day. I don't want to get too deep into that, but really pointed out that it is not only the action that we take, but it could be the inaction that we take for ourselves, which has a ripple effect outward. If you're still living a life that is not true to yourself, your heart, your soul, you're being shown that right now. You're feeling that right now on a big, big level, a big way. And if you don't open your eyes to it and see it, it's going to continue to become harder. Life will be harder, the more challenging. And it's not to, again, it's not to punish us. It is to wake us up, open up the eyes to how to be true to ourselves, how to be true. Let me get this down here so I can get some cards. Because that's the only truth, the truth to yourself. Then ripple effects outwards. And it's an intense message that nobody can deny. Nobody can deny. So, with all that said, sorry for the intensity there. Just gonna get a couple cards for today. How are you guys doing? I have this, I'm in a different, trying to adjust here. All right. How are you guys doing here? We gotta be perfect all the time, right? No. Well, I don't know what perfect means to you. That is not part of the message at all. Because, again, it is all relevant to an individual level. We all know when we're not being 100% true to ourselves, 100% true to our heart and soul. Our soul tells us. Life starts to tell us. Saturn starts to tell us. There's no such thing as perfect. That's coming out through strongly. I'll get cards for today. Actually, yeah, let me go to the Wild Unknown Tarot. And again, this is not a right and wrong. I think that's some sort of principle off of religious based or something. This is what you know in your heart and soul is right or wrong for you. It's not right or wrong for anybody else. And maybe those are not the right words, but these are the English language that I speak. We know what is good for us and what is not good for us. What actions are good for us to take and what actions are not good for us to take. We feel that. We know that deep, deep, deep down. If we are trying to please others, if we are trying to portray something that we are not, if we are taking action but are not feeling 100% confident on it yet, there's a reason for everything. We have to understand and get in touch with our own heart and soul before we speak, take action, anything energetically even, and just really know yourself, know thyself. Important, very, very important. Authenticity, yes, that's it. We are imperfect. I like this a lot. We are imperfect and we are wired for struggle, but we are worthy of love and belonging. Yes. I think there are so many, there's so much instilled in people's minds through upbringing and religion and whatnot, society. Yet at the same time, we still know in the heart and soul if that is resonating for you truly. When you're not feeling it, you're torn apart inside. It will eat you alive. And there's a reason for that. Your heart and soul, your higher self is saying, no, you're not understanding. To thine own self be true. And that's it. That is it. So, it really does take a lot of, it just takes knowing yourself. Really knowing yourself and why you feel the way you feel. And I say that for a reason. Because if you're not feeling right, There's something within you you're holding on to that your higher self, your soul is saying, no, you're not getting it. Think again, listen again, pay attention to everything you say and do. Because again, when we have that energy that is not in alignment with ourselves, with our higher selves, that is another ripple effect that just continues to affect others and affect yourself. It is not just a soul journey at that point. This is how we are all connected also. Sorry, I'm trying to get the glare off of me. Perfectionism is one of the most toxic things we can internalize. Big difference between striving for excellence and needing to be perfect. It is not possible. Absolutely. Absolutely. 1000%. 1000%. It really is very simple. It is simple and natural and a knowing. We all have this knowing, internal knowing. Yet we go against our internal knowing so much because of what is being brought to us. How much are you going to go outside of yourself? How much of that temptation is going to pull you outside of yourself? We've all had to experience it. And a lot of people are still experiencing it. And Saturn square Mars right now is showing us a hefty lesson. If you are still acting and being inauthentic to yourself, I think that would be the best word to say. Says the person who struggled for a lifetime to do the things the right way. Yes, I agree with you there, Mara. You know, these are all major life lessons. And again, it is not as punishment. It is not to say right and wrong. We know deep inside what is resonating for us. And that is how we're connected. This is how we are connected. So many of us go outside of our true nature to fit in or to so-called do the right thing or to keep others happy, please others happy, or to survive financially, within success or through temptations. We've been taught these lessons since childhood. We just have been distracted from them with the way life has gone. Again, we've created that. So this is how we can change. This is how we can start to create something new, is getting and understanding all of the lessons, our own personal lessons from Saturn, from the law of cause and effect, how we have affected not only ourselves, our own personal lives, but others around us. It can affect family, friends, your home, your job, everything. And it gets just, if we continue to not to neglect what our heart and soul is telling us, what Saturn is telling us, you know, it's gonna get heavier and harder, and it's just not pretty. Not a pretty picture. It doesn't feel good. It is a really tough lesson when you stay 1 foot in and 1 foot out. When you have that knowing, but at the same time you're questioning your own knowing because of the temptations others bring to you. To believe something that your heart and soul says, that doesn't feel right. The authenticity is beating me broken today, so broken, leak all over the place. Blood, tears, bone broth. Yeah, that is, that's how it feels. That's how it feels. And I can only imagine, like I said, I've learned this lesson the hard way years ago, and never really spoke all the way about it to anybody. Those who deeply know me within my family know a good bit of it, but yeah, it takes some time to unpack everything, and it is in layers and cycles. We have had over a year of multiple cycles assisting us. Saturn has been assisting in seeing and unpacking in a very nurturing way. We've had a very simple, easy ways of, not easy, I don't want to say easy, but not as abrupt and as intense as it's becoming now. And now it's almost as if God or Saturn is saying, you know what? I've tried. I have tried to help you. I've tried to walk you through this. I have tried to hold your hand. You are still not making the changes you know you need to make. You are not following your heart and soul all the way. You have adjusted, you've dipped your toes in, or you have one foot in. However, now you're on your own. I release this hand holding. It is now time to put on your big boy pants, big girl pants, and see what I'm trying to show you. And just take that step forward and not perpetuate things back and spiral back down to where you do not like to be at all. I have the shakes, which is like, I don't know who's channeling through me, but it is an intense, massive lesson that we all must go through at some point in time. But for those of you out there who are still not understanding what is going on within your own personal life, and maybe going through some struggles, and again, it is not as punishment. It is your own soul telling you, listen to me, hear me, pay attention. There's so much more that I'm trying to show you. You need to get out of the way. Studies show that childhood neglect can be harder to identify and address than abuse, beginning to actually encompass all the ways I've neglected myself or truth. Yeah. Yes. And that's the other thing, that we are all innocent. We come into life with challenges that we have to face. And it's almost like we have to get out of that somehow. And the way to shift it is to always stay true to your heart and soul, which most of us have been out of fear, out of following, out of maybe trying to be the good boy or girl, have gone against our own soul's nature many times. But a lot of times we learn those lessons one way or another. I mean, that's what life is. It's all about choices. It's all about our choices. And, everything is always unfolding and changing. And we can always change it. There's always a choice to change it. That's the thing. Some people think, I'm doomed. This is how my life is going to be. That is just feeling sorry for yourself. That is giving up on yourself, making excuses. Yeah, and Saturn will show you that too, if you're willing to see. Most of us have neglected ourselves in somehow, some way. It is not an easy lesson to unpack fully. And we've all been through the ringer, especially in the last year or two. but we'll always have a choice to make changes, to follow our heart and soul. And that is really the major message from the energy that we're in right now. I'm gonna just get a short reading here on Ace of Cups, Father of Pentacles, Daughter of Pentacles. I'm reading from the Wild Unknown Tarot. All right. This is nice. This is beautiful. Okay. All right. So I'm going to show the cards in a minute. And the ego is developed as a coping mechanism. A lot of times to cope with going against your own heart and soul. The ego can be strong. The Empress. One more. So this is actually telling me that there is a balance that is being worked out here. Okay. Wow. All right. Bottom of the deck. Four of Cups. This is discontent. This is greed. This is not feeling good. This is basically emotionally feeling like crap because you've gone against your own true nature, your heart and your soul, and you feel like a rat, basically. You feel like crap. And below that is Ten of Swords, which is rock bottom, complete ruin, drama. The ego will sometimes become very dramatic when it's trying to hold on to the character it wants to play. So the first card out was Ace of Cups, though. Ace of Cups is the beginning of love, loving yourself, loving life, true love for self, true love for others, true love for life itself. Complete fulfillment. And Father of Pentacles, Daughter of Pentacles, this is kind of like steadily working towards this ultimate goal. Daughter of Pentacles is being, supportive and kind and responsible. We are responsible for the energy that we put out, for how we treat ourselves. This is an important responsibility that we have to ourselves, and we want to teach our children this. We don't want to continue to teach the children of this world the old ways. Do you know what I'm saying? We keep doing that. We're just this world, it's not going to survive. We must make grave changes. We have to be brave and responsible. Two of Pentacles, change, balance. It's necessary. It's needed. No more being so secretive in your own self-interest and, trying to pretend that you're not hiding something. This has to do with childhood. and how you were brought up. And you do know, your soul, your heart, your soul knows. Deep inside, you know whether you're being your own self, authentic, or if you're showing more of your dark side, your shadow side. This is also memories. A lot of memories are coming up of childhood. So it requires the mother, the empress. This is divine feminine energy, which is becoming so empowered right now. So empowered. I feel it. This is creation. This is our creative energy. This is nature. This is our own true nature. Following our own true nature. This is the mother within us all. Regardless of how your upbringing was. They say we don't choose our family, but we do. Before we come here, we choose our life lessons. I've just been blessed with a beautiful, amazing family, supportive. My life lessons were outside of that. Well, to a degree. I won't go into that in too much detail. It does. It requires the hermit. It requires self-reflection, deep inner self-reflection, slowing down, really slowing down, meditation. This is no joke. It also requires forgiveness. First and foremost, forgiveness of yourself. Because, you want to forgive yourself for going against yourself. And forgiveness of others, knowing that everybody plays a part, a character in this beautiful show called life, throwing out our life lessons, our temptations. Are you going to believe it? Are you going to take it? Are you going to do it? What are you going to do? Are you going to go against your own true soul nature? Four of Pentacles. This is being very possessive and controlling. This is the ego. This goes along with this self-interest and secrecy. The ego wants to hold on and does not want to show what it has created. But forgiveness, just forgive. Everybody goes through this. The sun. Allow this energy to enlighten you. Allow it to bring out your true nature, that vitality, your true soul's calling. You will feel so much better once you do. Just be authentic. Be yourself. Understand that we've all made mistakes. We have all made grave mistakes, embarrassing mistakes. I will start to talk about my own if that helps anybody. I've accepted my lessons, and I do plan to be fully transparent on my experiences and how I understand this so deeply. I understand this of all the universal laws intensely and deeply. And I do believe that I had to take the journey that I did and learn the lessons that I did, as painful and as hard as they were, to have this deeper understanding, because that is our evolution. We are evolving. We want to understand the cause and effect, what we do, what we put out there, how we put it out there, or what we don't do, what we neglect to do out of fear, out of trying to stay in the status quo. Anything. When you go against your own nature, your own soul, when you are following a belief that really doesn't feel right to you. You do know. So this is up to you. It is up to every single one of us to choose. What will you choose? Mistakes are mostly how I make art. And you know what? I don't even like to call them mistakes. Discoveries. They're discoveries. When you make a mistake, you're discovering something. Aha. Turn it around, and turn it into a positive. Turn it into, I understand. This is a lesson I understand now. And even the word understanding can get you into trouble as well. Because sometimes we think we understand something. And the ego wants to latch onto it then. I know this now. But do you really have that understanding? Saturn's going to show us that too. We need to slow down, pay attention, listen more, talk less, and really deep inner self-reflection and meditation is required to make this shift. It's a shift. It's an energetic shift, but it's a conscious shift. It is a very conscious shift of taking the time to do the work, to be aware of how we have created, each and every one of us have created life as it is right now. This present now moment for each and every one of us and as a collective. So, with that said, I'm just going to pull one oracle card to wrap this up. Because I'm kind of getting messages that it's time to wrap it up. I often say I love being wrong. Yet I also like to challenge people to prove me wrong. Yes. Active listening. Yes. If I'm wrong. Yeah. Right. Be willing to be wrong if you're wrong. You know what I mean? Like we don't know. We don't know everything. There's nobody on this planet that knows everything, but we need to be willing to be open to learning a lot more than what we've been shown or taught by mainstream, by the status quo. It's important. And it's important that we work together in our evolution, in building a better world to live in, for our children to live in, our grandchildren to live in. We owe it to the children, if anything. And just knowing that deep inside should be more than enough to come clean with yourself. This is really just a soul cleansing. Come clean with yourself. Who cares what other people think or say or do? It is up to us individually, and then it becomes a collective. And it has been intense energy, that's for sure. I've been feeling it all over the place. From the good, the bad, the ugly. I mean, interesting. But just we need to know ourselves in a deep, deep way. So much so that whatever anybody else says or does cannot pull you out of your element, yet you're still open enough to receive and listen, knowing that you may not really know. We all need to know when our ego is taking over. And when we're acting from our hearts. That's an important thing to be able to determine and decipher. It's a difficult one sometimes. But you do know. It's a feeling. It's a resonance. We feel that. So, slow down. Take a deep look. A growth mindset is different than having an open mind. To be with people who are genuinely willing to grow. Yes. And evolve. And work together. No more, one person or one opinion dominating over another. I think we could learn so much more about ourselves and the world if we worked together. We got out of our ego and out of our way, and we became extremely authentic and in touch with our hearts, in touch with our soul, in touch with ways of how we have created our life that doesn't feel good. Always look at what doesn't feel good. When you're in pain or feeling bad, that's actually a gift. It's showing you something that you want to release from your life. It's not a punishment. Life's supposed to feel good. We are supposed to feel good. by the way, just so you know. Let's just do one card to wrap this up if anything wants to come out here. Okay. Health. This keeps coming through a lot too. But this is telling me, I will honor the physical vessel that enshrines my soul. We need to honor our bodies, definitely. What we put into our bodies is so important. Paying attention to what we put in our bodies, as well as the materials that are even utilized. The plastic water bottles, it's one thing that I need to get away from. And I made excuses because I had no water at my home and I'm always traveling here and there, and it was really hard to fill a glass bottle. But no more excuses. Health. You know, carrying your cell phone around with you all the time, having it close to your head, being at your laptop or your iPad, the electromagnetic frequencies. We have no idea the impacts of those frequencies on the human body yet. So we need to take time out from those. The pesticides and the foods that we put in, you know, more organic the better, especially specific fruits and vegetables that do not have a protective outer layer. And you know, GMOs, there's so much we're poisoning our body with. We need to pay attention to our health. Smoking, medications. We want to evolve this part of the world as well, because our bodies are part of nature. And we do have a responsibility to cleaning everything up, including our own health. And that will also be part, I'm getting, this is also part of law of cause and effect, karma. So the more of us that are conscious about this, the better. The more we can start to evolve faster, clean it up all the way around. Clean up ourselves, clean up the earth. That's actually was a big lesson that I had to learn. And, you know, honor ourselves, honor our bodies, honor our home, which is the earth. It's detrimental at this point, and we need to see that. We need to really recognize and see that before it's too late. Before it's too late. That one came through very, very strongly as well. Law of cause and effect. I keep getting a lot of things with the earth and with our body. It's important. So, lack of protective outer layer. That's right. I don't know. That one just came through. Those are the messages for the day today. Sorry they're so in-depth, but you know what? This is an important message, and Saturn's messages are always intense. That is the father, you know, the mother, father of the sky, and really just wants us to really understand what is happening energetically and within each and everybody's individual life. It's coming around to show you one way or another, like parts of life that you are not following, you're not learning your karma, you're not seeing the truth inside of yourself. And it can be painful, it can be, you know, not so good, but it is not meant as a punishment. It is meant to like open up our eyes and change, shift. You know, we don't need to be judgmental about ourselves or others or guilty or blameful or shameful. We've all been asleep somewhere at the wheel here in life. So, you know, get off your high horse thinking that you weren't, because it happens a lot. We have other planetary transits that come in and kind of put us to sleep sometimes too. You get a little fuzzy and weird feeling and stuff like that. So there are a lot more other things at play here. So that's another reason why we should not judge each other, because we're not always in charge of everything here. Just know that too. We are in charge of ourselves and following our heart and soul. Other than that, pretty much, yeah, we have free will, but, you know, whatever happens, happens. What comes around goes around. What you put out there comes back to you one way, shape, or form. So, all right, guys. I think that's the end of the message for today. Take good care of yourself. And yes, let's work together and follow your heart. Take good care of your body. And yeah, it's going to end up, I see a good evolving future ahead for all of us. So I love you all. Thanks for tuning in this morning. Okay. Yeah. Oh, you're welcome. Oh, you guys are so sweet. And I really thank you for all your support and your wonderful words. That really just helps boost my motivation to keep going. You know, I don't really have much of a choice anyway, but I love it. I do. I love it. And I'm very blessed. I'm very blessed. So love you. Love you too. All right. Have a good day. Okay. Bye.